One quick note before we begin, I decided to just start releasing these videos year by year instead of by decade. I know some of you have requested that already, and I think it makes sense to try it out as I'm not done with the entire decade yet, but I do want to get some videos out. The 2011 recap will be out in maybe 2 days, and then we'll have a steady stream of videos after that. So without further ado, here is the 2010 NFL recap. In 2010, the Bengals produced headlines for signing Terrell Owens, as they now had two of the biggest personalities in the league with T.O. and Chad Ochocinco. Unfortunately, the team lacked cohesion and quickly faded into irrelevancy. The Eagles traded franchise quarterback Donovan McNabb to the Redskins, and in September, head coach Andy Reid named Michael Vick the starting quarterback. Despite not starting an NFL game for the previous 3 years, Vick didn't miss a beat. He led the Eagles to a division crown and was voted the Comeback Player of the Year. The highlight of Philly's season no doubt came from an electrifying comeback that ended in an astonishing punt return from Deshaun Jackson. Just like the Eagles' miraculous play in 1978, this game was played in New Jersey and was aptly named Miracle at the New Meadowlands. The Patriots looked to retool their offense by trading Randy Moss away and drafting Rob Gronkowski, a talented tight end who fell to the second round due to injury concerns, and Aaron Hernandez, another tight end drafted at a supposed bargain price, who dropped due to failed drug tests and rumored gang affiliations. Together, these two formed the Boston Tea Party. With their talent at his disposal, Tom Brady broke the season touchdown-to-interception ratio record and was voted the first ever unanimous NFL MVP. James Harrison and Defensive Player of the Year Troy Polamalu led the Steelers to the NFL's top D unit. With the departure of Santonio Holmes and Hines Ward entering his mid-30s, third-year receiver Mike Wallace developed into Pittsburgh's top weapon on offense. The defending champs in New Orleans went 11-5, but the offense produced a bit of a Super Bowl hangover. At the very least, they drew an easy playoff matchup. The Seahawks snuck into the playoffs as a 7-9 division winner. As a result, they became the first sub-500 team to make the playoffs in a full-length season. Unexpectedly, this game turned into a bit of a shootout. Late in the fourth, the Seahawks were up by 4 and looking to pull off the upset.
Finds a little bit of a hole, keeps his legs moving, he's across the 40, midfield, 45, he's on the run, Lynch, 40, pushes the man, 35, look at him go, he could go, touchdown Seahawks!
During Marshawn Lynch's incredible run, a seismic event from the stadium's noise was registered at a nearby recording station. Consequently, the play became known as the Beastquake, which also included a nod to Lynch's nickname Beast Mode. And that wouldn't be the only upset to begin these playoffs. Rex Ryan's Jets took out the Colts on a last-second Nick Folk field goal. Then they outdid themselves in the next round, shocking the 14-2 Patriots. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady eliminated in back-to-back games. It sure helps when you have all-pro corner Darrelle Revis shutting down half the field. Meanwhile, the Ravens and Steelers engaged in an all-out battle in Pittsburgh. At the end of the day, a Big Ben rocket to rookie receiver Antonio Brown set up Rashard Mendenhall's game winner. In the AFC Championship, the Steelers got out in front early, and although the Jets made it close, it was Pittsburgh who was headed to their third Super Bowl in 6 years. In the NFC, the Packers, as a 6th seed, took down Vic's Eagles. Even though Green Bay went 10-6, they never trailed by more than a touchdown all year. Much of the reason for that was a tremendous, well-balanced defense led by Clay Matthews, an outside linebacker who seemed like he was everywhere on the field. In the secondary, Charles Woodson was still amongst the very best corners in the league, and safety Nick Collins was a top-notch ball hawk. In his third year starting, Aaron Rodgers had shown plenty of promise. His best receiver was Pro Bowler Greg Jennings. The top-seeded Falcons matched up as the Packers' divisional opponent. Matt Ryan, another QB in his third year starting, had developed quite the connection with all-pro receiver Roddy White. In this game, though, Tremont Williams picked off Ryan twice, and Rodgers supplied 4 touchdowns in a blowout win. In the NFC's other matchup, the Bears shut down Seattle's Cinderella story behind a big day from quarterback Jay Cutler, so the conference title game presented a classic rivalry. On the first drive of the game, Rodgers rushed one in off a fake, and from there, the Packers' defense knocked Jay Cutler out of the game and shut down the Bears. With that win, Green Bay took out the top 3 seeds in the NFC and were on their way to Super Bowl 45. Arlington, Texas welcomed 2 historic teams with the 2 best defenses in the league. After a few punts to begin the game, Rodgers broke things open as he hooked up with Jordy Nelson for the game's first score. Steelers got the ball back, Howard Green hit Roethlisberger, and Nick Collins took it back to give Green Bay a 14-0 lead. In the second quarter, the Packers forced another turnover with Jarrett Bush getting the INT. It didn't take long for Rodgers to convert as he threaded the needle to Greg Jennings. That put the Packers up 21-3. Though before the half, Big Ben found Hines Ward to pull Pittsburgh within 2 scores. In the third, Green Bay's offense stalled a bit and the Steelers got another touchdown, this time with Rashard Mendenhall. Pittsburgh was now down just 4. But in the fourth, Clay Matthews popped the ball out of Mendenhall's grasp, and once again Rodgers made them pay with another Greg Jennings link-up. The Steelers would respond yet again, but when the clock ultimately hit 0, Rodgers was taking a knee and the Packers were taking home the Lombardi Trophy. Overall, Rodgers threw 3 touchdowns and was nearly perfect on his MVP night. Clay Matthews came from a line of football royalty, and after making the play of the game, he was the first Matthews to nab a ring. Finally, Charles Woodson, although injured during the game, fulfilled his championship goal that previously eluded him in his career.